Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Transforming SaaS Products with Embedded Analytics. Your host today, Casey Ciniello, Product Manager for Reveal, amongst many other things. And my name is Jason Barris, Senior VP here at Infragistics. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about the shift in SaaS product expectations. Most likely, this is something you've been feeling if you're at this webinar, and why embedded analytics is now an essential piece to what SaaS products can offer. We'll look at the challenges of building analytics in-house, what to look for in a great embedded solution, and we'll look at some code on how easy, some demo and some code on how easy it is to integrate Reveal into your products. Please ask questions in the chat window, and yes, you will get a recording of this webinar from Marketing Tomorrow. So the new standard for modern SaaS products is about real-time data insights. No longer can you just have static pages of a website, data that is not up to date, no interaction, no drill downs, no links to deeper data. Users expect more. So what's happened over the last several years, especially with more and more people working from home, using tools remotely, you don't have anyone in the office to jump over to the next cube or office and ask a question to. You need embedded analytics as a core expectation in a product. It's no longer a nice to have. So there's a few reasons for this. Obviously, product differentiation. If you have a product which is older and you want to modernize. So for example, you want to go from something like Crystal Reports to interactive dashboards. Embedded analytics can do that for you. Maybe you want to increase user engagement. You have a reason that you want to drive this culture change in your customers to engage them more in real-time insights to drive better decision-making for those business problems. Biggest issue still is we're making decisions in meetings without data because the data isn't readily available. With embedded analytics, that changes. Of course, there's new opportunities to monetize your application. With Reveal, we have many customers that are actually upcharging for more analytics features. Maybe they're delivering a set of dashboard templates for a certain price or a base price. If you want to edit, if you want to self-serve, if you want to share, etc., you can monetize those with upcharging in your existing application. And then, of course, you are all about driving retention. Most SaaS products are driven by renewals. So you're charging either a monthly fee or a yearly fee, and you need those renewals. You don't want some up-and-coming product to take away your business because they have some other feature that you don't. So embedded analytics is proven to drive stickiness inside of your existing product. So let's take a look at this product differentiation. So when you are comparing your app to your competitors, maybe you have something more modern. Maybe yours isn't as modern and your competitors are. You can drive an embedded analytics solution as a play into a core value prop of your application. So you've been collecting all this data in your product for years and years. How can those users actually use that data? How can they connect into their own data to drive better business decisions? This becomes a reason that your solution will be chosen over your competitors. So when we talk about engagement and satisfaction, high customer satisfaction drives renewals. I mean, it is proven. It's not about your low cost. It's not about necessarily, your marketing and how you're presenting it online. That might get you the initial sale, but customer satisfaction drives your renewal. So you need people to be engaged in your product, which means they like using it. So you want people in your platform longer. You need to look at daily active users, monthly active users. You don't want to see that trail off maybe from your trials down to your actual purchases. Why is that trail so deep? You want it to be less of a slope. It's because they're not engaged in your platform. You don't have that value proposition that maybe they need to be in your application longer. Of course, When you increase engagement, this increases the perceived value of your software, which drives more frequent and meaningful usage. So that's where you look at what are people using in my software. And we've had Reveal customers that have really noticed engagement once they deliver a modern dashboarding and reporting solution compared to what they've done before. And this leads to a stickier experience. So when a dashboard becomes part of your daily workflow, when you know the first thing you do in the morning is not check your email, but check your key KPIs in your dashboard, or based on how you want to deliver this experience to your users, maybe you're doing this through alerts. Maybe this is the homepage of your application. But at the end of the day, more usage equals more embedded value, and that will equal higher retention rates, which drives your renewals. So the embedded analytics piece will turn your app into a must-have application, which is a clear differentiator from your competitors. And when we talk about monetization, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but you could have tiered pricing models. Maybe your pricing unlocks additional data. Maybe features in your analytics will be available to users at a higher fee. So there's all kinds of ways that you can look at monetizing this. So for example, let's say you're a startup and you want to not only differentiate from your competitors, but drive net new sales. Maybe you're saying, hey, our base application is free. With the analytics, it costs extra money. Maybe you have a legacy app that needs to get transformed with a modern dashboarding solution, and you're delivering a bunch of default templates or maybe a visualization catalog that users can use. Lets them create their own dashboards, but if they want to edit, it costs a little bit more. So you can get very creative. And the fact that Reveal is an SDK, we don't stop you from doing anything. We don't care about the number of users. We don't care how you're delivering value to your users. We just know that you have all kinds of opportunities through our APIs in the SDK to drive whatever business model you need. And then when we think about build versus buy, this comes up all the time. And it really drives me crazy when we're on calls talking to prospects and they're kind of letting the developers saying, hey, we can build this. It's going to be easy. I can get this done in a month. They're not doing anything unique. There's no value. We can make it our own. And then you end up in this quagmire of high cost, never getting anything of value delivered to your customers, and then the forever maintenance. In my experience, when you look at why you buy software versus building it, it's because the vendor is an expert at what they're offering, which means that you're probably not in a position to say, we're going to have the best charting library, or we're going to have the best data connector engine, or we're going to have the best custom field calculators. That's not what your domain expertise is. Your domain is your own business, what you're driving in your SaaS. The embedded BI piece is the value add on top of what you're offering. It adds that 10x capability to your existing application. For you to build that yourself and then get stuck in that forever maintenance cost is not economical. And when you look at a 5 to 10 year ROI over solutions like Reveal, which is unique in the market because it is embedded and it can really be white labeled to whatever experience you want to deliver in your app, there's like no argument that you can build this yourself versus buy a solution. And this has happened no matter what evidence there is. Oh, we're going to go with an open source charting solution and we're going to figure out how to build a self-service experience for our users. Well, what happens if that open source charting solution is no longer maintained? Like 98% of open source libraries on GitHub, just the maintainer stops maintaining them. So you're stuck with a code base that you didn't build, but now you have to add value to, or you have to fix bugs in. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg. There's so much else that you need to worry about in an embedded analytics solution. So the build versus buy, very easy when you look at what it's going to cost you and your time to market. And that opportunity cost is something you'll never get back when really within a month with Reveal, you could be delivering a self-service embedded solution to your customers with all of the features that you're going to see in the demo that I showed today. So those key challenges: lack of internal analytics, limited engineering resources, maintaining performance and scalability, ensuring a seamless branded experience. And this is even worse today when we think about AI. I'm going to guess everyone on the webinar today is scrambling to deliver AI value in their product, let alone embedded analytics value. So the AI value that all of your customers expect is probably top of mind, and all of your engineering resources are shifted to delivering that value, not build out some sort of UI that will enable embedded analytics in your application. So what does a great embedded analytics solution look like? Real-time data, fully customizable dashboards, white label to match your brand experience, self-service capabilities, letting your users point and click their way to beautiful dashboards where your IT team or your customer service specialists are out of the business of having to respond to each user to create custom reports for them. And then, of course, a scalable multi-tenant architecture with all the security built in. So how does Reveal solve this? We have SDKs for Angular, Blazor, React, Web, and more for the front end. On the back end, Node.js, .NET Core, and Java. So based on the flavor of your back end, full white labeling options. Everything that you see on the screen can pretty much be customized to your experience that you want to deliver. Low code configuration, not no code, but low code. You're still going to write code to integrate Reveal. We're an SDK after all, but with that, you get a complete control over the experience that you want to deliver your users, rich interactivity, and of course, as I mentioned, that self-service experience. So let's get started with that, and let's take a look at a demo. I'm going to minimize my PowerPoint here. And the first thing that I want to show is a sample that many of you have seen if you've gotten into a demo or a POC with us at Reveal. But this is a fictitious company called Acme Analytics. And this kind of gives you an idea of what an embedded white label experience will look like. So the left-hand side, the top and the right is just my application code. This is an Angular application. This is my dashboard. So with Reveal, to integrate this dashboard was just a few lines of code, but you'll notice all of the interactivity that I get. If I expand a visualization in a dashboard, I can do things like forecasting, regression, outlier detection. I can switch visualizations at runtime, no code to do any of this. I can do things like export this to Excel and other formats. All of this UI and interaction takes no code on your part. It's all built into that SDK. If I jump over to my dashboards, this list on the left-hand side is a list of dashboards that I happen to have on my server. So as I select these dashboards, you can see the different types of visualizations that we have. But the idea here is, again, all of this is built in. I'm not doing anything special to make this work. So let's say I want to do some type of filtering across visualizations. I can do that right from my tooltip. I don't have to write code, and then my dashboard is updated with those filters. If I want to go into edit mode and I want to change a visualization, maybe I don't like this column chart, maybe I want to change this to one of our 30 different chart types, or even a custom visualization that you've added. It's just simple point and click. Maybe I want to do something like add a category or add a fixed line. So maybe what's the average across all of our yearly sales? Oh, there we go. Maybe I want this to stick out a little bit more to my users. Let's go ahead and change that color. And I want that to be a dotted line. And if I go back to general, why don't we make that a currency and use our large number formatting feature? And I can update that, and I check the box. And this is all automatically done with no code on my part. And when I want to add a new visualization, I can offer my users any data connector of the 30 or so that we have. So all of your tabular databases, SQL Server, Oracle, Databricks, Snowflake, MySQL, whatever you're using. And in this case, I'm using spreadsheets. So I have an Excel connector as well. So I could even grab any one of my sheets. I can preview the data in my sheets. And let's say I want to do a visualization based on state and sales. So I'm going to check this box. I'm going to select that data, and I want to do something unique. I don't want a line or a column chart. Why don't we try a map? And I'm going to do a map of the United States. So let's just do a states map. My location is going to be the state, and my value is going to be sales. So let's show sales by state in a map. And just like that, I have a new visualization added to my dashboard that now my users can, at a glance and even at a tooltip, get the information they need. But let's say, for example, you don't want to put your users through this select a schema or select a field. How about you just offer them something like a visualization catalog, which you maybe pre-populate with all of the KPIs that matter to your business, but with their data. So let's grab our total orders and our total units, and maybe I want to compare that with average months for tenant stays, and let's take a look at our product shipments. So here I will just select those guys. Actually, I forgot to select our average month. Let me go ahead and click that. And now I have a brand new dashboard. It's exactly what I want, but I want to go ahead and tweak it a little bit. I want to make this a little bit bigger, and I want to make this guy stretch across the bottom. And here, maybe this isn't exactly what I wanted to show. I'm still in the editor here. So maybe I want to show country as the primary metric, and then all of the products within country. Just like that, with the drag and drop, I've created this dashboard. So what does this look like in terms of code? Well, I have a simple HTML file here, which will allow me to create a new dashboard. So in this case, I have a server that's up and running. It's a .NET Core server. To get your server up and running can be as little as 5 lines of code. So I'm just going to view this here on my client. I'm going to open this up in the browser, and here I am at a new dashboard. So let's click plus visualization. I want to get my Northwind data. I'm giving all of this to my users. I can control what they see, what they have access to. I do want them to have all of the invoice data. I want to select this, and I'm right back to where I was in that previous demo. I'm going to drag order date, and let's do freight by order date. And now I've created a visualization in the first part of the dashboard that I want to deliver to my users. So let's resize this. Let's duplicate this guy. We'll make it a little bit bigger. I'll edit it, and we can go and change this to customer name by freight and change this to a bar chart, for example. And maybe I want freight to be sorted. So let's go ahead and sort freight. I'll update this field, and just like that, I have a second visualization. So with a few lines of code, and you can see that there isn't much here, maybe 10 lines of code at the most, I've created a self-service experience for my users. So very easy to get going with a tool like Reveal. And I've also created another tool here, which is kind of cool. This will give you an idea of the breadth of what you can do with a product like Reveal. So you'll see here, this is a dashboard. I'm loading up this banking dashboard, for example, and this is a configurator. It'll go ahead and give you an idea of all the things that you can change with Reveal. So I've already created this banking dashboard, but I want to just show you some different views of what it might look like. So Reveal has some built-in themes. We have 4 built-in themes. With these themes, you can clone them, and then you could change any aspect of the theme. So for example, I've created a bunch of different base colors here for my dashboard. So these could be your custom branding or any branding that you would like. Let's leave it at this rainbow bright branding. If I jump over to my theme overrides, maybe I want to do a border around my visualization. So now there's like a gray border. Maybe I want to change the text. So here I'm going to change this to railway. So we'll do railway now as my default text for all aspects of this dashboard. You can see everything is changing and it looks really nice. Even if I go to my overflows, all of the fonts change as expected. And in my experience, my UX team wanted to have more gap, more space between the various visualizations. So I'm going to change this to 10. So now I've got a little bit more space, and our design system is not rounded. So you can see everything here is rounded. It should be square. So now we've changed everything to be squared off. And then you can see here, I've listed all of the potential properties that you can enable, disable for users. So let's say, for example, you don't want to allow users to export to Excel. So if I go to the overflow and I go to export, you can see we have some export options here. I'm going to go ahead and remove Excel, and let's remove image as well. Now, if I go here, I'll go over here, and there I've removed those. So what this is doing in this sample is it's just setting properties in the background for my dashboard. So this isn't what your users see. It's something that you could use to get what you want your dashboards to look like, and then you just copy that code output, paste it into your application, and you're done. Maybe you don't want users to edit dashboards. So remember, all of this is built in. I can jump right into edit mode. I can change out a visualization. So maybe this should be a column chart, and I want to show this by, let's do country again. So there's my countries. Maybe this isn't the best display for me. Maybe I do want to use a tree map. So now I can very easily see the visual representation of deposits by country. When I click the checkbox, it just saves it to my back end. I don't have to write any code to do that. This experience, all of the things that you're seeing me do here are built in to the UI. I don't have to write any code. So this is a true low-code experience that lets you deliver embedded analytics into your product, similar to my Acme Analytics. And how you surface this in your product is completely up to you. This was my way of doing it in Acme Analytics. You might have a UX team that has a completely different idea on how they want to present embedded analytics to your users. So with that, let's jump back over to the deck and we'll wrap this up. So hopefully you could see how easy it is to deliver an embedded analytics experience in your product. I don't see how anyone could say they could build that for cheaper than what you end up getting a Reveal subscription for. So what we want to do is ensure that you're delivering maximum value to your users at a very low cost of ownership for you and your company when you're trying to differentiate and drive more sales and renewals in your SaaS product. So contact us today, sales@revealbi.io, or email Jason, myself, jasonb@infragistics.com, or Casey C. Ciniello at infragistics.com. And we will be able to answer any questions for you, set you up with a demo and a technical deep dive that will hopefully get you on the right path to delivering an embedded analytics solution that truly differentiates, drives stickiness, drives revenue, and drives customer satisfaction in your SaaS product. Thanks everyone for joining today, and we'll see you at the next webinar.